So, hello there everyone and welcome, it is Runnin here, and today it is time for me to bring you the final ever episode of FIFA 18 Career Mode in the future. It's been a long journey, 15 seasons, and we find ourselves in the final season of Career Mode being 2032. We cannot go any further, and it is now time to take a look at the rest of the stuff that we haven't looked at, because I realise there are some leagues, some players, some teams that we haven't even seen throughout the entirety of this series. So if you're a fan of a team from, I don't know, Poland or Austria or Belgium or Australia, then you're going to be seeing them in this video in terms of the leagues anyway, and then I'll be showing you some of the main teams from the main sort of countries, if you like, or main leagues in Europe, etc. Go on to enjoy the video, then make sure to slap the like button and subscribe if you're new to the channel. Hopefully this will be a little bit more laid back than some of the other ones because it's quite a long video. I haven't recorded in over a week, so let's see how this one goes because this is going to be at least half an hour potentially. Nevertheless, some of the leagues haven't finished unfortunately because they run a different calendar. Argentina is one example. You can see that River Plate were top at the point at the end of the season. Australian League might be done. I'm not entirely sure. I can't remember how the league system works in Australia, but Melbourne City are top of that. I think they're going to have a playoff, but for some reason it doesn't show that on this game when you're not in that league. Over in Austria, another league we haven't seen at all in this series so far, it's Sturm Graz, who are the best team in Austria on goal difference, 15 seasons in, winning over RB Salzburg and then Admira Wacker and Altach. Over in, or Altach, not entirely sure. Belgium though, Standard Liège won the league again on goal difference, this time from KAA Ghent. Anderlecht coming third from Zulte Waregem and then Genk in 5th place as well. Not a great time for Club Bruges, one of the best teams in Belgium usually, but way down towards the bottom of the table. Colombia is another league that hasn't finished, but at this point in 2032, 19 games in, Deportivo Cali are winning that one. In Denmark as well, Aalborg won the league from Copenhagen. If you're a fan of the Danish league, then make sure to have a pause on the video to take a look at the entire league in a little bit more detail. Obviously, we won't just be taking a look at leagues in this video. I'll be showing you some of the main teams from the main domestic European leagues that we haven't seen. So some of the, like all the Premier League teams. I'll go through literally all the Premier League teams, show you all of their squads, etc. And we'll also look at some more players and regions, etc. towards the end of the video. Lorient, though, getting promoted to Ligue 1 after winning Ligue 2. Over in the second tier of German football, it's Augsburg and Braunschweig getting promoted. It's St. Pauli, Nürnberg and Darmstadt just behind them, along with Freiburg and Dresden. And in the third tier of German football, Eisgebirge Aue, I think that's how you pronounce their name. I can't quite remember how you say the first part or spell the first part for that instance. But the B team of Werder Bremen coming second there, and then SV Wehen. I don't know how you, again, I've not heard of a lot of these teams, especially the German third tier ones because they're new to the game. Regardless of that though, over in the second tier of Italy, Carpi won the league. They get promoted on 99 points to the Benevento, Palermo and then Parma. Cesena down towards the bottom getting relegated if the third tier of Italian football was on the game. The Korean league again I don't think has finished yet, but FC Seoul are top of that one ahead of Jeju United and Ulsan Hyundai on 38 points. So for you Korean fans out there, that's how your league is looking at the end of career mode. And in Norway, Strømsgodset are, again, might not have pronounced that right, are winning the league, or have won the league, sorry, over Vålerenga and Lillestrøm. Rosenborg, the usual biggest team in Norway, only finishing 4th in that season. In Saudi Arabia, Al Shabab have won the league over Al Riyadh and Al Nazir. Then it's Al Qadisiyah. I think I'm doing okay, I feel, with the pronunciations right now. But I'm going to stop talking about that. In Sweden, Malmo won the league over AIK and IFK Norrköping in 3rd place. The home, of course, of one of our favourite players of all time, Linus Wahlqvist, on this channel. Djurgårdens there finishing in 4th. In Switzerland, the penultimate league that we're going to look at in this video, FC Sion won the league by 12 points actually, pretty dominant over FC Basel, Grasshopper Zurich, sorry, and FC Zurich as well, so the sort of rivals there. BSC Young Boys down in 6th. And in the United States, or the MLS, a bit of a difficult one again is this one because they're sort of not really towards the end of the season yet, and there's a lot of teams that play different amounts of games, etc. But at this point, DC United are top from New England, although they've got 2 games in hand, so we'll never know how the MLS ends, unfortunately, in this season, which is the reason why it's never really featured in this series before. It's always been slightly hard to factor in, because I don't really know when that season ends, and it's just a little bit difficult. But now we're going to look at some of the players in this sort of system right now, in the world of football in 2032. One player I've mentioned a couple of times before is this man, Diego Muslera, who I think is Edinson Cavani's regen. 4-star skill moves there, 88 rated. He is playing for Stoke City. Yet another amazing amazing regen playing for the 5-star English side at this point in the career mode save. Looking at some of the real-life players as well in this video, Trent Alexander-Arnold has swapped Liverpool for Manchester City. He's now 81 rated. Senad Kolasinac, I just found him quite interesting. He's playing for Leeds United. Don't think they're in the Premier League either, but he's an 82 rated goalkeeper. He is Asmir Begovic's regen, for those that didn't know. Sheffield Wednesday with a pretty interesting regen here as well. At this point in the career mode save, they're actually in the Premier League, but Samir Keitano Reame, who can play as a striker, centre forward and attacking midfielder, is only 22 years of age as well, so got a lot of time to grow. Unfortunately, we won't see it though, because it's the end of the career mode save. Again, going back to the real life players, Phil Foden is still playing for Manchester City. He is now 32 years of age, would you believe, and 84 rated. Another amazing regen playing for Stoke though now, and it's Nicolo Viola, Stoke centre-back as I mentioned, from Italy, 86 rated. Think he might well be Barzagli's regen? Not entirely sure, given his age. He probably is, he's 33 years of age. Alan Villalba, look at this guy, attacking mid, Argentinian, 88 rated. Playing for Man City. Not entirely sure who he's a regen of. It's probably extremely obvious, but I don't know it for some reason. Deo Upamecano, we've seen him quite a lot, and he's changed teams quite a lot. I think we've seen him at, what? RB Leipzig, Saint Etienne, Stoke, and now he's playing for Watford. 85 rated, 33 years of age, still a very good player. Luke O'Connor, the mystery sort of generator player from Ireland. He's clearly not a regen because there's no Irish players on the game with this sort of potential. He's just a randomly generated player playing for Brighton, and he is 90 rated still, one of the best players in the Premier League. Matthijs de Ligt, one of the best sort of outfield real-life players left in this career mode save. He is 89 rated playing for Lille. 32 years of age and still got that very, very high overall. Very well done to him. Props to him, one of the best defenders throughout the entirety of this save. Jadon Sancho, the English winger, 84 rated. He's now 32. He started to decline and he's still playing over in the Scottish League for Celtic. Back to the regens though, Rafael Valdez-Diaz, another great regen playing for West Ham. Centre mid, defensive mid and attacking mid are his possible positions. He is 87 rated and 25 years of age. Very good player indeed. Daniel Granell, we're going to leave it at Granell because I don't know how to pronounce that second last name. He is 88 rated playing for Tottenham Hotspur. Right back, not entirely sure who he's a regen of, potentially Hector Bellerin? I don't know, would Bellerin have retired that early? Potentially, not entirely sure. Maybe that is who he's a regen of. Alban Lafont, though, 89 rated, still repping the real-life goalkeepers in this save and still playing for Internazionale over in Italy. Kai Havertz as well is still in this save. He was playing for Watford for quite some substantial amount of time. He's since swapped to Tottenham and now he's won the league, what, twice with them, I do believe, during the course of this save. Over for Barcelona, here is Namakoro Boué. I believe this is Frank Ribéry's regen, not Ribéry. Left mid and left winger are his positions, and he is 87 rated. Here though is Napoli's Kasper Dolberg, the Danish striker, 84 rated and still playing over in Serie A. He is now 34 years of age, would you believe, hence his decline. Same for this man here, Leon Bailey, the Jamaican winger playing for Lille, can play on both sides of the wing at 34 years of age and now 79 rated due to his decline. Obviously because of his age, he's still been a very good player throughout this save. Another strange one, not entirely sure who this is a regen of. This is Bruno Andre Costa Silva. Phenomenal name. 87 rated, playing for Bristol City down in the Championship. So a very good player to be down in the Championship, realistically. 87 rated. Probably wouldn't expect him to be in the second tier of English football, but Bristol City clearly doing a good job to keep hold of him. Ben Woodburn, another player playing for Stoke. 82 rated, real life player, of course. Still got a decent overall there. Back to Ibra's regen. We've seen him several times in this save, playing for a couple of different teams. He famously was playing for Oldham Athletic at one point, whilst 85 rated in League One. He was since pinched by Southampton and he's continued to play for them until being rated 89. Ousmane Dembele has started to decrease for Barcelona. He's now 83 rated, unfortunately, is the Frenchman's, but still a very good player. Here is Aguero's regen, though. Lucas Martin Arias, 90 rated, playing for Lille. So another great player playing for the French side. He's 29 years of age and certainly in his prime. Vilca Fariñez, one of the best goalkeepers in the Premier League at the moment, barring De Gea's regen and Manuel Neuer's regen. 87 rated from Venezuela and still playing for Tottenham Hotspur, where he's been, I believe, since 2020. Literally, he's been there since the series even began, I think. Alexander Isak has been a bit of a journeyman, but he now finds himself at Barcelona as the Swede, 32 years of age and 83 overall. And then finally, Mario Baez, another player really where we don't know who he's actually a regen of. I don't think he's Cavani's regen because he's not rated high enough, but he's playing for AC Milan there, is the 32-year-old. Now, moving on to some of the national teams before we look at some of the sort of mainland European sides in the main domestic leagues. We're going to take a look at the national teams we haven't particularly seen throughout this series. So in the background right now, here's an example. Here is Australia, 3.5-star side. Haven't really seen them whatsoever. Their best player, I think, out of the team is called Theo, and then their second best player, well, joint best player actually, is called Theo Harris. So don't know what's going on with the Theos there, but mainly 77/76/75 rated side, sort of average, probably going to qualify for a World Cup, but not do too much once they're there. Austria, 4-star rated side, their best players even, got a momentary lisp there, with their striker and defensive mid both 79 rated. Cameroon's best player is their goalkeeper, Andre Onana, who's still playing at the moment. Not entirely sure who he plays for at this point, but he's in the sticks between the Cameroon sticks, and the two strikers were both 80 rated. Chile, I don't think we've seen these guys. They've got some very good players actually. Ramos in goal, Centena, Zentena, and Leverpan in the midfield, as well as Lanoas even, and one of their strikers as well was 87 rated. That is because he was Alexis Sanchez's regen. Don't think he's quite reached his potential yet. The Czech Republic, Ondrzejek is their best player. That's because he's Petr Cech's regen, 87 rated, and a couple of decent central mids there as well. If you're a fan of Ecuador, then here is their team. Their best player is their right back, Saicedo. Again, Ecuadorian right back. That has got to be Antonio Valencia's regen. Don't know who he plays for though at this point. Egypt have got an interesting one actually, because I don't believe Ramadan Sobhi is old enough to have retired and spurned a regen who's reached his potential, so I don't really know who that right mid is by the name of Hafez. He was 84 rated. I think he might just be a randomly generated player. Not entirely sure though. Finland in the background here as well, for those that are from Finland watching this series. I can't imagine there's many people, but if you are, then shouts out to you guys. You're amazing. I love the country of Finland. Here is Greece though. Their best player is Manolas. No, that's not Kostas Manolas. That is his regen, called Manolas. I know, amazing. Greece's best player retired and created a regen with the exact same name. It's phenomenal. But he's their best player. Their left back was very good as well. You've just seen Hungary there in the background, still sort of pretty average realistically in terms of ratings. Iceland really the same. Don't really know who the regen of Gylfi Sigurdsson here is. It might well be Traustason there in centre mid. Not entirely sure, but whoever it is hasn't reached their potential yet. This is Ireland. You can factor out Lopez and slap in Luke O'Connor, who we saw potentially earlier. Was he in this video? Yeah, he was. The Brighton guy. This video is so long, or it's going to be so long, I've forgotten who's even been in it. But Ireland have got a pretty decent side. Mexico as well, a decent side. Van Rankin, interesting Dutch name, but he plays for Mexico. Reyes there, their captain, is 80 rated, and Rodriguez was their best player, 82 rated in midfield. I realised I never showed you the Netherlands, I don't think, last time, so here they are in the background. Koppers, Kluivert, Van der Lely, Idrissi, De Ligt, Fosu Mensah. Ridiculously good side, full of regens, but also a couple of youngsters who haven't retired yet, the likes of Timothy Fosu Mensah and also Matthijs De Ligt. Northern Ireland here in the background for those of you guys from the northern side of Ireland. Decent side again, but not too much in terms of change, in terms of rating anyway. Here is Norway as well. Lorentzen and Martin Ødegaard are their best players. Bergia there at 80 rated in centre mid, and their goalkeeper was 81 rated as well. Paraguay. Man, this really is a long haul, isn't it, this video? But Paraguay here as well in the background. Some decent players, 78 rated and 79 as well. Poland, their best player, unsurprisingly, is Kobylanski, who we've seen a couple of times in this series. That's Lewandowski's regen. And 84 rated Zimanski, I imagine that is Krakowiak's regen, as well as an 84 rated right back, who I imagine is Lucas Piszczek's regen. Romania here as well. If you watch Kutsi, then shout out to Latov Levici. If you don't, then you're not going to understand that reference. But their best player is 80 rated Chipchu at the back there for Romania. Russia are a 4.5-star side. Yurchenko, Buranov, Pliev, Katsayev, Ignatiev and Kozanov are their best players. I've done a pretty decent job to not completely stumble over my words there. But now on to Scotland. Powlett is their best player, 81 rated. Again, mostly full of regens, but I think Sutar there at the back, the defensive one is not a regen, however the one going forward was. Slovenia, their best player is Oblak in real life, and he still hasn't retired yet, but he's now down to 75 rated, paving the way for Krajnic, the 82 rated centre mid, to be their best player now. On to Sweden though, We've got Andreas Bergqvist, obviously he's their best player, the Ibra regen, Alexander Isak up front with him, and then Ring, 83 rated, that I believe is going to be Emil Forsberg's regen. He is also a very good player in that side. Switzerland as well, we're getting towards the end now, the national teams, but Switzerland here as well, decent side, 85 rated goalkeeper Seferovic is their best player. Turkey as well, 82 rated Baris, Zeybek as well on the right hand side, 83 rated. 4-star side, so pretty damn decent, but maybe not as good as the peak Turkish side you could get on this game. The United States side here as well, Adams and Gonzalez, the two central midfielders, they are their best players, and a 79 rated goalkeeper as well called Rozzo. It might not be pronounced that way, I just thought I'd overham it. But nevertheless, as well, the final team, Venezuela, a couple of pretty decent sort of winger players there, Murillo and Contreras, as well as a decent right back. Adalberto Peñaranda, unbelievably, isn't even their best player. He's 80 rated now, alongside an 80 rated strike partner. Now, though, we're going to move on to some of the domestic sides that you might have either seen in previous years, or you haven't really seen at all during the course of this save. They happen to have some interesting players. Now, first of all, we've got Arsenal, a team that's suffered some strife during the course of this save, let's say. I think they've been relegated twice now during the course of this save, and in the background you can see why. They've only got one player who's above the rating of 80, Pereira Criero, I think his name is, the 81 rated centre mid, so not a great side. Only really as good as the Aston Villa side here, 4-star rated. Their best player is Dubravka, the centre back. I think Aston Villa had just got promoted for this season, can't quite remember, but we're going to go basically through all the Premier League sides. Here is Brighton in the background, so if you're a fan of them, very decent side actually. Two very good Irish centre mids, Byrne, who was actually in the Irish team earlier, and Luke O'Connor, who wasn't, but he's Irish, 90 rated. A good right back, centre back, and goalkeeper there as well as an 80 rated striker. So Brighton looking pretty decent. Burnley, I think, have probably got a little bit worse actually, if I'm honest with you, over the course of 15 seasons, but I don't remember them getting relegated too many times. 4-star rated side. Pretty much sort of mid-table / relegation strugglers, if you like, of the Premier League at the moment. Crystal Palace had a couple of good players, like really good players at one stage, including Malang Sarr at his 88 rated best, but they've lost a couple of those guys. 81 rated striker called Yaba is their best player now. Everton have got a couple of actual real-life players up front. Borja Mayoral, Tammy Abraham, and Tom Davies as well, the 83 rated attacking midfielder who actually was at Everton at the start of the save, so he stayed there for the entire time. Leicester, a little bit of a one-man team, barring that centre-back there, Zagadou, 83 rated, because Sanchez Ruiz is far better than the rest of the side, barring that centre-back at 87 rated. Liverpool were relegated, of course, at one point. I think they might have been relegated in this season as well, I can't remember. You can see why, judging off that, but that isn't actually their best side. I don't know why it's showing Awaniyi and Ojo up front, because they've actually got better strikers and wingers than that, but they're basically not great. They're certainly not as good as they were. This is Manchester City though, a couple of really good strikers, Gabby Jesus and Hitic there, Andreas Christensen still in the side, as well as Alexander Arnold, but down to 4.5 star, much like their Manchester rivals as well. Andre Gomez, Marcus Rashford, Tuanzebe, Sintena, Corian, that's Mkhitaryan's regen, and Fosu Mensah there as well, keeping them at a very good overall. United was the team that we used throughout this save, so that's the reason you haven't really seen them throughout it, I guess, because the team hasn't really changed all that much, apart from a couple of regens here and there. Newcastle United, decent side actually, decent defence there, and you also had Moise Keane as well, the Juventus youngster, 83 rated up front. Reading have been a pretty decent staple actually in the Premier League for the last 4 seasons now, I think, in this save, and they've got a couple of decent players there, 83 rated central midfielder in their side. Sheffield Wednesday, another championship team at the start of the game, but they featured in the Premier League for a couple of seasons now in this save. Decent side, but nowhere near as good really as that Reading one that we just saw. Reading certainly the one championship side to really break through and burst into the Premier League and hold their own there. Southampton, decent right mid actually there, Soleri, as well as of course Ibra's regen up top there being Andreas Bergqvist. Spurs won the league. This isn't their best team. It's only showing a couple of their best players for some reason, but Embolo, Dele Alli, Kai Havertz, Davinson Sanchez, Fariñez, Cucurella as well, so some decent players there, but that's not their strongest side. Swansea there with Schweder. For those that don't know, that is Mesut Ozil's regen, 89 rated. They are definitely a one-man team though, because the rest of the side is barely even touching the 80s. On to West Brom though. Decent side actually, again, a bit more of an all-round decent side here. Below, the 80 rated Dutch goalkeeper, Doumbia and Harper, I think they're both regens in the centre of the park, and Murillo, 80 rated striker. 5-star rated Stoke though, and it is, they're next up, and there's no surprise they're 5-star. Look at that. 91 rated Hilsner, 86 Viola, 85 rated centre back, left back of 91 rated, 88 rated Aubameyang regen, just a ridiculous side. Here is Watford, who were actually challenging for European places in the Champions League at one point in this save. Dropped off a little bit, but still some decent players there. Adisa Balaga, Jesus Vallejo, and Dejo Upamecano, all real-life players and all still pretty decent. West Ham, another 5-star rated side in this save, and in the Premier League, Kier, as well as Mekera Nescamento, and also the goalkeeper, all regions there of Ericsson, Coutinho and De Gea respectively. Onto the European sides though, here's AS Monaco, Mbappe Lotin still playing for them, as well as Yuri Tielemans, Nicolas Sula and Silla as well, so Sula and Silla up front. Lille though, this is one team I'm really impressed with. 5-star rated, Vincent Thiel, Yilmaz, Michel van Bergen, they've got Martin Arias, that's of course Aguero's regen, De Ligt at the back, very decent amount of players at 81 or above, and a decent chunk of players at 85 or above as well. Lyon pretty decent too, Locatelli, Tuzar, Carter Vicker, Soyuncu, Fructal as well, the ex-Bayern goalkeeper as far as this save is concerned, all very decent ratings. Paris Saint-Germain, Paraz there I think is their best player at left wing, 87 rated, don't know who he's a region of, but Esposito, Wilfred Ndidi, and also Lautaro Martinez in that side, as well as an 87 rated centre-back. Olympique Marseille here as well. Marquise is their best player, their second best player. Seferovic, 85 rated goalkeeper who was in the Swiss national side about 5 minutes ago probably in this video. He's playing for Olympique Marseille, so that's clearly who he plays for. SM Khan, another very decent side, 84 rated centre-back, 82 rated Svanberg is their striker. And if you remember back to the last career mode in 2032 video, they've also got an 89 rated Italian centre-mid, who I think is Verratti's regen, but he for some reason wasn't on that screen. Now on to Germany, Bayern Munich, they've declined massively, 82 rated left mid, and Tom Vitek, who's their 87 rated Thomas Muller regen, but apart from that the side is very average, actually worse than Hertha Berlin, who've got an 86 rated right mid there being Ward, and Aleman, who is a attacking mid at 82 rated, but generally rating wise, Bayern are actually worse than Hertha Berlin. And also Borussia Dortmund as well, a couple of good players here. I imagine that they've got a couple more good players on the bench because that team doesn't really look good enough to be 4.5 stars. Here's Hamburg though as well, 87 rated centre-back there, Halber Setia, don't know if he's a regen of. Decent goalkeeper there at 83 rated and a couple of forward players at 81. Frankfurt next up, Eintracht Frankfurt, their best player is 87 rated Dumic in the middle of the park, and they've got an 80 rated centre back there called Martins Caricio as well. So a couple of decent players there playing for Eintracht Frankfurt. They are a 4-star side. Leipzig again, keeping with the trend of having some real life players actually here. Ryan Sessegnon at left back, Prisnal Kempembe at centre back. They've also got Benjamin Henriks on the right hand side, and Dominic Solanka up front as well, or Solanke, the current Liverpool player in real life. Borussia Mönchengladbach with a couple of good players here too. Coppens is their best player at 87 rated. Garcia, Rivera, Vitinho on the left, and Urca up front are also very good players, who was actually the top scorer in the Premier League back in 2030 on loan from Gladbach to Bournemouth, so a little bit of trivia there for you. Schalke, 4.5 star side. Castells is their best player, centre back there, 86 rated, and they also had an 83 rated winger. Mainz 05 won the Europa League, I think, in this season. They've got an 88 rated Spanish centre mid and also an 82 rated left back as well. So a couple of decent players there. Their goalkeeper was also very good. And then Wolfsburg, finally, in terms of the German sides, a couple of good players here as well. Both wingers, very strong. Striker, 83 rated. 82 rated centre mid there called Didaccio. And 83 rated Mili Svilar, I think, the Belgian goalkeeper from Anderlecht, also playing for them. Now over to Italy. Benevento were in Calcio B until this season, in 2032, where they're promoted to the top tier. They got two players, 188 and 189 rated, so how they even got relegated in the first place is beyond me. Internazionale looking pretty average, to be honest with you. Alban Lafont, the goalkeeper, who plays for Toulouse, of course, in real life, is their best player. Juventus as well, only 4-star rated. Damn. They're not going to be doing anything in the Champions League in terms of winning things. And Ramadan Sobhi hasn't retired because he's still playing for them, so I don't know who that Egyptian winger was from earlier on. AC Milan as well, not a great side, but for some reason the 86 rated Mario Baez, who we saw earlier, isn't in this side. Lentini and Zeybek are though. Also decent right back there called Denton, he is 85 rated. Napoli as well there with Desires on the left-hand side. Haven't really established whether that's Hazard's regen or Dries Mertens as yet, but he's still very good, that's the main thing. And Kasper Dolberg there at striker, he is 84 rated. Roma suffered a bit of a decline, much like Juventus as well, only 4-star, and only one player 80 or above, and it's their goalkeeper, Bizzoli there, 81. Apart from that, the rest of the side is very, very average. Torino here as well, 4.5-star side. Valencic, 81 rated. Hugma and Poggenberg, their best players, both their centre-backs, so a very strong defence there, and also an 81 rated left-back. Now on to Spain though, Atletico Madrid, don't think we've seen them in this year, they've declined quite a lot as well, they're down to 4 stars as well, much like Juventus and Roma, so some of these sort of teams that you'd expect to get maybe into the semi-finals of European competitions these days have really dropped off. The likes of Barca and Real, the absolute titans have stayed, have remained, but the likes of Atletico, Juventus, Roma, even Napoli to an extent, and Arsenal, Liverpool, Chelsea have really dropped off. You saw Deportivo Alaves there, very decent side. This is Barcelona, 5-star still. Some very good players there in defence and going forward as well. And now just to confuse you, here's Barca B, slightly different formation, but also some very good players on show here. Sangare, 89 rated centre mid, and only half a star worse than their senior A side. Absolutely ridiculous how both the A team and the B team can be so good. Penultimate team that we're going to look at in this video is Deportivo La Coruña. A little bit of a one-player team there with Ronaldo's regen on the left-hand side. And then finally, Real Madrid, decent side here as well. Gianluigi Donnarumma is their best player. Razul, they're 84 rated. Marco Asensio, Adalberto Peñaranda, and also Martin Santos on the left-hand side, the 84 rated winger. But that, my friends, ladies and gentlemen, my beautiful viewers, that is the end of career mode in the future, indefinitely, forever, on this game. Indefinitely and forever, I feel, are contrasting words, but at this point my brain is frazzled. I've been commentating for 26.5 minutes, my voice is dry, my brain is ready to explode, and I'm sure you are ready to move on to the next chapter of videos on this channel. This has been a really fun series to do, actually, I'm not going to lie. It's been really cool to go all the way to the end of the career mode save, and seemingly you guys have enjoyed it as well. You've smashed the support on this series, on this channel, generally, sorry. So I've got to say a massive thank you to you guys for just continually supporting this series and making it possible to actually get to the end, because obviously if you guys didn't like it, then I wouldn't have got this far within the series, but consistently you guys are enjoying it, so massive props to you all. Really appreciate it. Much love from me as always. But in terms of this video, we are basically done here. I've shown you pretty much everything. I know I haven't shown you flipping the third best team in Poland's starting 11. I realise that, but we genuinely be here until, I don't know, 7 hours in the future if I showed you absolutely everything. So we've got to end somewhere, and this video is already pretty damn long. But I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. If you have, then slap a like on it, subscribe if you are new to the channel, and comment about enjoying the video if you enjoyed it that much. I'll try and reply to some more comments during the course of 2018. That is my New Year's resolution on this channel. But apart from that, it has been an absolute pleasure ranting at you guys today. Have a wonderful day, enjoy yourselves, and goodbye.
Yo, Massappels. I roll out with some monsters. Looks like your team and you watchers. I do not roll with imposters. Sound like the man in the Oscars. I'm drunk of Henny and Fosters. I have a career, I am jobless. This bitch f me so hard, I might just end up unconscious. I like girls in lingerie, especially if it is crotchless. Bitch, I am the bigger picture. There is no way you can crop us.